And your players were getting spun the whole time.
None of the goals.
Koulibaly got spun twice.
None of the goals were defenders' fault.
Koulibaly got spun twice.
No, he didn't.
What do you mean? How do you get a red card? He got spun twice.
Okay, I'm saying spun and it led to a goal.
No.
Van Dijk's done it 3 games in a row. What are you talking about? 3 games in a row.
It would have led to a goal, but he got a red card.
Who? Van Dijk? He let Zaha shoot.
Yeah, he should have got close though.
Yeah, that
First
defending
game.
is terrible.
Mitrovic laid him out 3 times. Halfway.
So now it doesn't
What do
matter
you
for it doesn't matter for leading to goals. You just said Koulibaly
just gave you a
it didn't lead to goals.
Yeah, what?
But then when Van Dijk, you name stuff that doesn't lead to goals.
What do you mean? You said Zaha was a clear goal.
Halfway.
I'm saying
You said for
and
Fulham
Van
game
Dijk,
3 times.
He got spun 3 times by Mitrovic.
Koulibaly got spun by the fucking striker no one's even knows. 3 times.
It didn't even lead to a goal though. I'm saying we didn't score.
You guys played the back
defensive
5 and you
mistakes.
conceded 3.
They didn't score off defensive mistakes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. You're back with Let Him Shoot, the best football podcast in all of the country, where culture meets football.
Yeah, it does.
And joining us today, to my right,
It's your boy MJ. You know the business, you know the score. Back again, feeling good. I'm ready, man.
That's a smooth intro.
yeah,
Very
he's really sorted it out.
Well done.
To my left,
It's Bajolin with a B. Entrepreneur thing.
Elon.
I'm gonna keep it short and sharp today.
yep,
Pengus Techers, depressed mode. Showered for 3 hours today. Liverpool.
we got
It's okay.
stuff to get to.
But don't you guys worry. The energy's back up. I'll get it up soon. Pause.
Earth Hour people gonna be on your ass, bro. You just took a 3-hour shower.
I took a 3-hour shower and I'll do it again. I'll do another one tonight.
Climate change people,
Rosie.
get to the DMs.
Whatever.
Before we start, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, share, like, and subscribe, and comment. We had a big weekend this weekend, and a lot of teams showed. A lot of teams showed why they're at the top. A lot of teams showed why they're struggling, and some other teams, they were just terrible. So we're going to start off with the game of the weekend. Liverpool United at Old Trafford. United 2. United who were on 0 points before the game 2. Liverpool.
Yeah, I had a big weekend.
One.
Partying hard this weekend. Got some chores done. Business as usual. That's it really. Nothing else really happened.
Just let him go.
Do you guys remember this being a daily vlog?
Yeah,
I don't
Nothing else
remember
really happened this weekend.
Yeah.
This episode's going to be real short. I think we can cut it here if you guys are happy with that. But
you've heard me say, tough times never last. Liverpool fans, they're not tough. They're not tough people.
Not at all.
1 loss, and I've seen Klopp out. I've seen Trent out.
Milner's getting death threats.
Milner death threats. Retirement home. Van Dijk out.
Nah, he's protected apparently. bro. He's the only one that gets nothing.
Wait, what did you guys think of the game, first of all?
For me, it caught me by surprise. I'm not going to lie, because if you look at United, obviously leading into this game, they were in terrible form. They looked terrible, but it was brave from Ten Hag. He made 4 big changes. Took Ronaldo out the squad, Fred out the squad,
Harry.
yeah, Harry, big Hazard, Luke Shaw out the squad, and I think this is probably the closest team to the best squad he's got right now that played. And I mean, if you look at the start of the game, the attitude was far different. They played with much better intensity. The front 3 looked way more fluid. They worked hard. They played out better. Liverpool they looked pretty
Lackluster.
Yeah, it's almost like they got spooked. First 20 minutes, spooked, conceded a goal, and that's what they've conceded. The first goal in 3 games in a row now.
6 games straight.
6
Yeah.
games straight.
From last season, yeah.
And that's why I think it's so surprising, because I think last season, any season before that, since Klopp's been there, you'll never say like Liverpool weren't up for the game. Intensity's always there. They start, they're running, movement from the front 3, always. Today, they got completely outworked, outmatched.
Yeah.
Intensity from the United players. From the start of the game, you could see Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, Alanga just pressing high, and they knew that mistakes were going to come. the whole game. Like, I think I saw a thing basically and it said United in that game ran 18.4 Ks more than they ran in the Brentford game.
Yeah.
They went from running 13 Ks less than Brentford to running 2 more Ks than Liverpool in the game.
Yeah.
Which just shows intensity was there from the start.
And in the game, the commentator said the game against Brentford was the biggest discrepancy between two teams
I
ever
saw that.
in the history of them taking the
Yeah.
stats for
Yeah.
distance run.
Yeah.
And then to back that up with the performance they had this morning.
And they looked electric.
It looked, it was impressive.
Man, that was nice. You know, my TV gets foggy in the morning because we watch games at like, 6 a.m. So my TV was a bit cold. For a second, I was like, Salas, did he get a trim? Did he go bald or something? Then as my TV started to heat up a bit, it got clearer and clearer. That was Ten Hag.
Yeah, versus Dalglish.
Ten Hag.
I don't know. I think the Liverpool team, I mean, we'll get into it after, but they just couldn't cope. I think stand-up performers in this game, Sancho, the Varane and Martinez together.
They looked decent.
It looked decent. It looked like they kind of complemented each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The chemistry wasn't there fully yet from those two, but they're only going to get better.
And also, I'm not impressed with Dalot, but I think today against against Liverpool, he looked
And
decent.
to be
And the
fair,
guy that went home with the Egyptian,
Oh, yeah.
the guy that took the Egyptian guy home, that Malacia
Malacia,
tank.
he was good
it looked good.
Every 1v1 scenario.
Every time he got beat, he just recovered.
on the ball.
Yeah, he just
Good.
recovered straight away.
It was
instantly.
left-footed prime Wan-Bissaka.
He must have watched that Tomori video.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Tomori against Salah.
But even on the ball, he looked positive.
It's
Moved
as
the
though
ball quickly.
It's as though he never even felt the pressure. There was times where Liverpool were pressing and he was going to his own byline and he still found the pass centrally into McTominay or into Eriksen. And I think Ten Hag's made an amazing decision to put Eriksen deeper because when they're playing out, he's passing between the lines to get the ball to Bruno and to get the ball to Rashford. It's exactly what they needed.
Between I think him and McTominay.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Worked. You know,
It was
you got a guy
perfect.
who's got a super engine,
Yeah.
and then the guy who's a ball player.
And we're not going to say it was a perfect performance from Man U because it wasn't.
Absolutely not.
But I think that
promising.
as a Man U fan, if you're a Man U fan, that's the most perfect thing you could see from a team based off how they started this season, based off how they finished last season, the way that they were playing. I think the energy from Bruno, seeing Rashford scoring again, seeing Martial back on the field, seeing Sancho playing with the sort of intensity that he probably hasn't played with this season, and then seeing a backline that didn't look prone to mistakes. I saw a Liverpool fan tweeted saying, "We really missed Maguire today."
Yeah. and I think Liverpool, as soon as they saw Maguire wasn't starting, they would have been like, could be up for a game.
yeah,
Because defensively, I think Varane, he's had his issues in the past, but he's still a high-level player. And I think he demonstrated that. He was the leader in that backline today. And for much of the game, the Liverpool front three were virtually anonymous.
facts.
And I think that was eased by one of the worst performances from Firmino.
Oh, my days.
An absent
See what,
Salah.
see what I said last week?
I think if you're
I
on
said it.
350k, you cannot be putting in those performances.
350k a week.
Salah,
Oh, my days.
you have to be the spark. The team should have to look to you and say,
And the
mate,
spark,
you've got to do something.
the spark's on the other side. The only time anything is ever going to happen or be created out of nothing, it's coming from Luis Diaz. Whether he doesn't score, in the end, Salah again scores. He just scores out of nothing because that's what he does.
That's his game.
He's got impeccable positioning and he's just around in the box. But if you isolate that goal away from his performance was shocking.
Yeah.
He was genuinely poor.
Shocking.
Like poor. You're playing against someone it's his first start ever in the Premier League. And he's clamping you up.
Yeah.
Even when you beat him one-on-one, where's the acceleration to get away or get a delivery or find a shot on target? He had no shots. He wasn't finding anything in the box. He just was not... It's not a player that... He's not the player like Mane was. Even when everyone said Mane's playing terribly, he's not playing well, at least he would come short, create, receive the ball.
Similar to what Diaz is doing.
Receive the ball in the half turn,
very
exactly
similar.
what Diaz is doing. When they're not having the best game, they're still creating. They still want to be on the ball. Salah in the second half spent almost majority of the game in between Martinez and Malacia. He said, I can't go one-on-one anymore. I'm going to go in between. And Firmino was forced to drop almost to where the 6 and 8 were because of our... If I keep talking about how poor the starting lineup and the performance is...
It wasn't good.
It's going to...
Well, then let's speak about United because a big result. Casemiro to come into the side.
Straight swap for McTominay.
Which is automatically a huge upgrade on McTominay.
Facts.
If you play that similar role with Casemiro sitting next to Eriksen, you've got the ball winner, you've got the engine right next to a ball player. A progressive ball player to a front three that looked like they could run in behind all game. And then if they needed a bit of creativity, Sancho is the obvious outlet. Bruno. Bruno was still a bit headless chickenish.
Yeah, but you'd live with it. You'd live with it.
He was in it.
He spent half the game on the ground as well, man.
He did.
He's getting sick of this shit.
Nah, but his work rate, if I was a Man U fan,
work rate was good.
like phenomenal.
Yeah, of course.
He was in their own box defending, clearing shit. Almost got own goal, but clearing
I think
shit.
it was that type of game though where they were... Because you noticed from the start, United did not play out once.
No, they didn't. They decided no.
De Gea pushed everyone up the field and they just played off second balls.
Yep.
As soon as they won it, it was like if it dropped into Eriksen or Bruno, it was first time into the channels.
Yeah, perfect.
And the front three that was on suited the game plan. Where do you think United go from here, Mike?
Well, I think Casemiro, he brings a huge presence to the side. He's a winner. He's got a winner's mentality. So I think from that standpoint, you're going to see a United with a much stronger midfield. I think we're starting to see United sort out their defense, which has been a huge problem. You got Malacia, who's in there now. Dallo, who looked decent, but I think you can live with that. But I think we're going to see United they're going to be more positive, especially if they get guys like Rashford, Martial firing, Sancho firing. It's a very, very promising side. And obviously with Ten Hag, we know the kind of football he played at Ajax. So they're going to be able to play football. I think it's going to take time. I don't think this is like, United's back. But I think if you're a United fan, seeing this performance against rivals, you know, there's a lot of positives to take.
Against a team that usually just
steamrolls. Yeah, they haven't been United in how many?
Since 2018. Since 2018.
5 years, 4 years.
Us, and if you look at last season, 9-0 on aggregate. It's a big contrast to what we saw.
Do you guys think that, like Mike said, Ten Hag came from Ajax, obviously has a distinct style of play. Do you think for maybe 6 months he just goes, nah, like fuck it, we're going to go higher up the field, try get possession in their half. Yeah. Like we're not going to bother playing out. We've got De Gea. Well, let's just like get the ball into the opponent's half and then try and play? Or do you think they'll go back to playing out?
I think we were listening to, I can't remember who was saying it, but they were saying when Arsenal first got Arteta, they didn't play out. They didn't even play. They didn't play the style.
We tried to, yeah.
And then they stopped playing the style of football that you thought Arteta would play, and they were playing more defensive, better shape. They got that base first. I think not until they get a new keeper that's going to play out, and not until they get some more midfielders who, like when Casemiro comes in and they can play on the ball. But I think for now, as long as they're still exciting, get the work rate in, get the running in, get the intensity, the hunger, the desire, all of that stuff has to come first. And then I think he's going to start getting his team.
And you just see United's pull power. Like, where can a team like United, for instance, if you take Chelsea, they had a poor start like United. They won't be able to get Casemiro. There's no way.
Do you think it's pull power? Because I think it is a little bit. I think United is huge and
100%.
Most players in the world would be open to a move to United because of the club. But is it a case of let's give this guy 350k a week? Because you know Casemiro's wage at Madrid was 180.
They've given
him 350.
They've given him double when he's 30.
Yeah. Well, maybe the money's top.
Because we didn't hear any talks of Casemiro to anywhere. I feel like they've just come in and said, "Cuz
we need you.
Yeah. Here's 350k. He's never going to get 350k
anyway."
Again,
exactly.
Yeah.
It is a mix of it being United. Obviously, if that's in Newcastle, I don't think Casemiro is going.
No way.
Yeah.
But
I do believe United may have effed up a bit by giving him that straight away.
Yeah.
Maybe go lower and then say, This
Yeah.
is the max.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think they could have got away with like 200, 250.
They were coming off a
definitely.
4-0 to Brentford though.
Yeah.
They were pretty desperate.
Desperate, but don't show all your cards.
no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right? They
Yeah.
bought Chouameni.
Madrid, yeah.
Madrid are calm.
Exactly.
So
Madrid are laughing.
Be
from a
smart.
United perspective,
Be smart.
it's really it's foolishness. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
100%.
they could have bargained a bit smarter, gotten a better
And 60K
price,
is not too
and
cheap.
bought somebody else.
Yeah.
60K is a lot of money. I mean, 60 mil is a lot of money.
60 mil is a lot of money for a
30-year-old.
not, and we're saying 30, but you know, De Bruyne's 30.
Yeah.
Salah's 30. There's
Yeah.
the
And
best
Casemiro
players in the league can be
in my
30.
opinion, is the best DM.
But
in the
how
world.
many
So-
players are moving at 30 and expected to perform?
Yeah,
I
not
think
too
Yeah.
that's where I mean I think he's going to be good.
Yeah.
But it's a very
I think,
high risk.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. Especially for someone who looks as though it's going to be, because we're not expecting success straight away at Man U. So it's someone who's going to be a placeholder until they get to that stage.
Yeah.
So unless they get success in the next three or so years, he's a placeholder.
Yeah.
What are we saying? Liverpool. I can't say I'm not happy because I'm over the moon. I think Liverpool fans deserve this. I think Liverpool fans were extremely loud for 4 years, and they won 2 major trophies.
That's it.
3.
So what are we saying is Liverpool's problem? And we're going to start with Bud.
Can I just say, before the game, Jurgen Klopp already wrote down his speech of excuses as to why they're going to lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
One, every Liverpool fan wants to blame Milner. Yeah, okay, he's at fault for jumping in too early, but what the hell's Van Dijk doing? What's this guy doing? He's going to block the shot. Block the shot then. Not block your keeper attempting to block the shot. All he's done there, standing there, is block Alisson from getting to the...
Absolutely.
seeing where the ball was going to go.
He was blocking something. Yeah.
Sancho used him as a shield,
Yeah, absolutely.
like a little rice shield, and he just shot around him. Easy. Passed it into the back of the net. 2.
Yep.
This has been going on for... We got a little taste of it. What season was it when they bought Nat Phillips?
The season City won. Well, every season City wins the league, but it was the year Van Dijk got injured.
Yeah. They don't have depth.
18, 19.
They don't have depth enough to... They've been getting away with it for way too long now. And I feel now it's actually definitely caught up to them. Say Klopp's coming up with players that are injured or out. 3 of them are starters. Or
Yeah.
3 of them would start. If with the full team,
Yeah.
only 1 of them would start. That is injured.
With the full team, 2 of them would probably start. Matip and
But
Thiago.
Matip was in and out as well in the rotation with Konate. Why
Matip
would you
isn't
buy
a
Konate?
100%
injured
nailed on starter, but Konate's also
Yeah, but there's
injured.
only 1 spot. You can't
Yeah.
start all 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
I'm
one
saying
of them-
1
Yeah.
and Thiago. But
Thiago.
he's
and then
gone
our
on.
starting 9 is not there.
He's gone on and named, but that's because of
Jota, I'm saying.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
or Darwin.
why'd you buy an 80 mil striker then?
Yeah.
Bought a striker, but I think
Jota is not your starting 9.
He's not going to start over an 80 mil striker.
I think he will.
No way.
And
He'll
when
be.
he's back, he's going to start.
But anyways,
But you go.
He's
Yeah.
named 7 other players from I don't know where.
Yeah.
Some of these names I've never seen in my life.
but
But they're
matters.
one of the
course,
injured.
it matters.
No.
Why?
Those injuries matter when you're so short on midfielders and you have 4.
It's your fault.
I'm not saying
100%.
it's not his fault, but I'm not saying it's his fault either. I'm saying
It is.
obviously I think it's the owner's fault, but
I got a point on that. By the
when
way.
you don't have these midfielders who can come into the game, midfielders that would be able to come into the game, obviously not be as good as Thiago, but they can do a job better than the midfielders that we had in the game. I don't know, but I do not think I'm defending Klopp in this situation because I'll get into it when it's my turn to get into it.
Yeah.
But you go.
which comes into my conspiracy theory number 1.
Yep.
Klopp is only a puppet and he's being controlled by Liverpool's board. I feel like this guy doesn't want to sign these players, but the club have based signings around players that have like an almost mirror-like image like to what Liverpool have had in the past, which has led to them having success. So, for instance, getting Jota, not because Jota was a good player, it's because he's what did they have that XG thing
Yeah.
of Jota. So buying him wasn't Klopp being like, I want. It's the board being like, hey,
I think that's true.
100%.
Like that is a thing that happens.
But
I feel like, and then
I don't think Klopp makes the signings.
no way, because he doesn't. when he does these press conferences, he always says that these players are injured. Every game they lose, which is not a lot, but when they do lose, his excuse is it's always he goes to his injury list. But then when these guys are playing and they're not playing well, he doesn't say anything. It's not like Klopp is going and be like yeah, we want to sign this guy. He's very promising. La, la, la. I've never heard him talk about Darwin. Never heard him talk about Jota or any of the signings they've made before they brought them in to the club.
I think you're right in saying that he doesn't make the signings, because I think when he came in, Liverpool were linked with Götze, Gundogan, all these players that had played German league. Instead, opted for Mane, opted for Salah, opted for Fabinho, and those players were made, like you said, off a template of how Liverpool want to play, the style, which has won them things.
100%.
We can't say it hasn't. That's been extremely successful. They signed players who are 30, 40 mil because they have potential outputs and they've excelled. But I think now it's showing that those signings aren't going to work every time. So Darwin isn't going to be a natural replacement for whoever they've signed. Or,
exactly.
You know, the amount of depth. Keita is another example where it hasn't really worked. And unless you're getting those signings correct, the whole having a smaller squad that plays a lot of games, it's gonna start catching up to you.
All right, let me get into it, because I've had a lot of time today to think about like what I'm gonna say, how angry I'm gonna be, everything. Because when I think about it, I'm not gonna be one of those Liverpool fans who you see on whatever, Klopp out, this is wrong, this player's wrong, this is wrong, whatever. Fire him, get rid of him. But I'm also not going to be one of those people who are like, no, we have to trust in Klopp. Everything he does is right. Trust in the players. They've won us all this before. Because I think realistically, when you look at it, still, we were 21 games in the Premier League undefeated until we lost today in a row. And then, though you look at it and it's 3 games this season, no wins. We lost twice in 4 years by 1 point. So obviously these 3 games, it matters. Every game matters when you're trying to fight against a team like City. So when I'm watching the games, the 3 games this year, the team looks flat. It looks like we have no intensity, no desire, no depth. The players that we've signed aren't making any impact in the team. When we get injuries, we have injury-prone players. Thiago is one of the most injury-prone players. So we can't be so reliant on someone who, yes, when he's playing is, for me, one of the best midfielders in the world. But then when he's not playing, how can the direct replacement be Milner? That it can't possibly be. You can't be a team fighting for a title and you go from a player at such a high level and the direct replacement underneath that has come in is Milner. Yes, Keita's injured. Yes, Curtis Jones is injured. Yes, other players are injured, obviously. But I'm so confused, because you look at Klopp when he comes and talks. He says, when it's the right moment, we'll sign a midfielder, but it has to be the right player. So if we look back to before the season started, he's been getting questions, will we sign a midfielder? He said, of course, everyone would love to get new players, but it's not the right moment for us. There's no right player on the market. Then a week or so later, after the first game of the season, he said, yes, we would love to bring in a midfielder, but the player's not there. Like, there's no player there. Then now it's, I would love to bring in a midfielder, but we're not allowed to spend. We don't get to choose whether or not to spend or not. So I'm thinking it's got to be FSG. It's got to be the owners, because how can you look at the squad we have right now, a team that if this year, I'm telling you, because we've experienced it. If Liverpool this year don't finish in the top 4, we are going to go a long time without finishing in the top 4 again. If we don't go top 4, we aren't going to have any pull power to sign anyone. We aren't going to have any pull power to get a good manager in once Klopp is done. We aren't going to have any pull power, because our players are getting old. Van Dijk is 30. Salah's 30s. Firmino's already finished. Fabinho's getting close to 30s. Henderson, our captain, is pretty much washed at the moment.
33.
Milner is starting 36 years old. Like
Matip 30.
Matip 30s. Alisson getting to his 30s.
You can play.
I guess a keeper you can play. But still, that's the thing. We're looking at these players, they're getting old. We need to bring in players. They said bring in Jude Bellingham. Dortmund even came out and said he's for sale. Pay the money. You paid 80 million for Darwin, but you're not willing to pay for a player who looks like he would fit perfectly into the side. And then
realistically, they only paid 40 mil for Darwin because they sold Mane.
Of course, yeah, they sold Mane, but you let a player go who you gave Salah his 350, and I'm sure Mane all he wanted was the same as Salah, and you didn't give that to him. He's gone. And he's a player who can fit into another system, slotted straight into the false nine, slotted straight into the false nine at Bayern. It's like Lewandowski never left. He's scoring goals. But for us, Firmino's tried to replace him back into the side. He can't play. I said it last week. He cannot play for Liverpool anymore. Darwin comes in. He doesn't suit the team straight away. He doesn't come in. He doesn't suit. Of course, he
gets a bit of time.
It's expected. Yeah. It's expected. But you look at Haaland comes in and he's already making an impact for City. Whether or not he's the tidiest player, whether or not he's the best player, you can still see his impact.
Yeah. I'll ask you, Mike. What sort of luxury do you think is afforded to the big teams in terms of injuries? Because yes, we can say when teams like Liverpool get a decent amount of injuries, it's unlucky they have injuries. That's sort of the reason. But you look at other teams like Leeds, like Brighton, like whoever, Palace, who are playing with
Leicester,
who are playing with a much lower quality of player. The players that Liverpool bring into the team when their players are injured are probably that of those teams.
Who could walk into those teams,
and like those teams seem to flourish without in the same division against the same teams. Do you think it is the injury thing? Do you think Klopp's tactics are sort of similar? And, they're being outmatched, outran. Is it something other than injuries?
Well, for your first point, I think when you look at the big clubs, I don't think they can't get away with the whole injury thing or not having enough players because you have access to funds. Generally speaking, those are the kind of clubs that have access to players and they can attract the players they want. That's my first point. Secondly, I think from a Klopp perspective, he's probably been used to players like Mane, like the forwards who never get injured or rarely get injured. And those are his key pieces that rarely get injured. So I think if you're looking forward to this season, you lose somebody like Mane who had a huge impact on just the way the team plays.
The system.
The chemistry.
He started.
The balance.
He was the start of the whole Liverpool era.
You lose that, and now what do you have? Now he's got a team where there's no balance. He doesn't know how this team's going to play because he's brought in a 9 that isn't as fluid as maybe what it was the season before.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he knows he's in trouble. I think he's gotten used to the right players not getting injured, apart from Virgil for that season. And now that's not the case. He's relying on the players that aren't firing because of maybe the way the team's playing, the way the balance is, and he's just got it all wrong. And I think that could have been from, if you look at last season, they could have won 4 titles. They didn't.
Yeah.
They lost Mane as well. So I think they're suffering now from that emotional burden of the last season that he's struggled to figure out. How do we fix this team? How do we bring in the right midfielders? Do we maybe look for a striker that's not like Darwin and maybe less known that might suit the system better?
Yeah.
How do we fix up the defense? And these are all problems he didn't fix. So I think now it's going to be a tough season.
The thing is, every Liverpool fan cried for a midfielder. We needed a midfielder. We know injuries happen. It's football, and yet the club was so strong and adamant that we didn't need a midfielder. We have players. First game of the season, Thiago goes injured. That's while Naby Keita's out and Curtis Jones is out, and we just brought in Carvalho. Then you look at Klopp's starting lineup for this game against Man U, and you see that he started Milner and Henderson and Harvey Elliott.
What
was it? The same team that started?
No, Henderson was
the same midfield that started.
Henderson
was out.
Yeah, Henderson came in for Fabinho.
Yeah.
He didn't come in for Milner.
Yeah.
He came in for Fabinho. Fabinho, yes, first 2 games wasn't himself, but it's a big game, And you see what happens when he comes on.
Especially with him and Carvalho.
When him and Carvalho come on, it's a transformed team. We want to get on the ball. Yes, Menu were sitting back and trying to defend their lead.
Yeah.
But it's still a transformed team. You finally have a midfielder who wants to actually get. You saw when he came on, he wants to get on the ball. And Carvalho wants to get on the ball. Milner, Henderson, Harvey Elliott hid for a whole first half.
It's just no balance.
And then that especially doesn't help the likes of Salah and Diaz to get the ball, because we have no midfielders progressing the ball. And when they're pinning our fullbacks back, you can see that we have there's no options to create anything if they're pinned all the way back.
Absolutely. And on that point as well, if Mane would have been the guy to drop pin, receive
Exactly.
the ball,
Exactly.
create things, make things happen. But now they don't. They have that in Diaz.
Yeah.
But Salah's not going to do that.
No, and
He's
Firmino
against
used to
side,
be
he's
able to
just
do
gonna
it.
tuck in.
Firmino used to be able to do
Yeah.
it, but this guy is not the same guy.
Firmino,
But-
yeah.
Do we say that? I don't think this is because of an injury list. Because if you look at it, these injuries are not anywhere near compared to what they suffered that year, where they had Van Dijk out, Gomez out.
They still started
We started a
A
team that's
proper
good
team.
enough to win win games in the
the
Premier League.
midfield. No, it's that midfield that started was like
That's what I said.
a team that was coming 14th, 15th, 16th.
Yeah.
But the front three and,
And
the
the
back
back,
line,
it was the starting
was
back line.
And we've
they're
got-
as good a team they can play.
So I'm saying, I don't think it's the injuries that's the problem. I think you're getting to the end where these players are. It's almost like they know themselves that.
You think the
they
cycle's
can't,
just
they can't
over?
do it again.
Mm.
If you tell me, if you guys bring back Thiago and thing, you're still not going to win. I don't think you guys will win the league.
I don't think we'll win the league.
I don't-
But obviously,
it'll
we're
be
going to
a-
be a much better side.
So you're
But
saying
I
it
don't
could
think
just
it'll
be
be
a
that
case.
much of a better side. I think it'll be just a better side. You still have problems against teams like United, whenever you come up
Palace.
against a team that is more hungry, you lose to or draw to.
But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
No, you keep going.
That's what I was gonna say.
If Jota was fit,
Yep.
Thiago was fit,
Fabinho started.
Fabinho started,
Yeah.
is the result similar, or is Liverpool
I don't
running
think
over
it is.
United?
I think it's a similar result, only because the first game of the season where we saw Fulham versus them, any team that's more hungry than Liverpool can get like a 20-minute spell where they run over them,
Score first.
and like Trent doesn't know how to react. Like when you need your team to defend, like for a 20-minute spell where you're getting pressed, you're not going to get that out of him. You'll get it out of Robertson. You're not going to get that out of Van Dijk, what we've seen lately. He doesn't even want to defend. He's a defender. I've never met a defender that doesn't want to defend like him.
Do you think this the way Liverpool look is a case of we can't go again?
That's
I
exactly
think
what it is.
it's
It's
I think
1
it's meant-
point.
is
They're
something
done.
I was
We
gonna
lose by
bring up.
1 point. We lose Champions League final.
I think that all is a huge
Yeah,
impact on
yeah.
this
Yeah.
year.
Man City are just. Do you think they just think like
But
they're just better
also
than
it's a
us?
case of Liverpool
Every
played in every
game.
single game they could play in last year.
Yeah.
every game.
Any game that was available to them, they played in.
Yeah.
And I think on top of that, not winning,
and a quicker turnaround this year than there's ever been.
Yeah.
and then you mix that with the loss of Mane and no real signings that people were excited about. Obviously, the Darwin signing it's a big price tag, but no Liverpool fan, I think, was genuinely like, I'm so excited to watch him play.
It's like cool.
Yeah.
They just did it,
Yeah.
so the fans were like, "Oh, nice."
They did it to
Yeah.
show that they spent to
Well,
replace Mane.
It was
Wrong
like
way.
it was like a nice gesture, but it wasn't like,
Yeah.
what's the impact of this gesture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is that burnout, if it is that we've run out of ideas, like we've done the same thing for 5 years, it's got us this amount of success, we're always up there. Does this season mark the end of Liverpool in the top two as this like dominant them versus City era?
It's crazy.
era?
Three weeks ago, we wouldn't even fathom this conversation.
Mm.
But after 3 games, 2 draws and a loss against Man U, it's realistic now.
It's and it's not
realistic.
even so much the results, but your performances in each game.
Exactly.
Maybe minus a 20-30 minute spell in the Palace game.
And I'd say a 20-30 minute spell today, 20-minute spell. There was
Yeah.
times in the first half where we were the
But
better
that's
team.
because of
And
the
there was-
result.
Yeah.
And
The
there was-
Palace game was while it was 0-0. This game was United were up. They were sitting. They were trying to
had
hold
to
on
do
to
something.
anything.
The Palace game, we were very,
the first
very
half,
on
you
top
were-
in the
you were
first half.
good. Yeah,
Until
that's what I'm
Zaha scores.
That's
completely
that's what I'm
changes the
saying.
game. Yeah.
So, is that a serious thing? Do you think? Where do you after this first month? Say Liverpool go on to not pick up max points in their last game of the month.
Yeah.
They end August with 2-3 points. Where do you see Liverpool finishing?
For me, I think if you look at expectation, if we're going to look at expectation, before the start of the season, Liverpool's expected to be in the top 2. They're expected to beat everyone who's outside of the top 2.
Yeah.
Realistically, they're not there yet. So I think from that perspective, we can say that there's some big warning signs because
A big decrease.
they're not beating anybody, and teams that they should be beating based on, even if you just look at starting 11 versus starting 11, they're not winning games. So I think they're in trouble. Football can change. I'm not saying they're going to be 15th, but I think based on how things are looking now, it's looking like it's going to be a really tough season. Winning games is going to be
It's not going to be tough because we're going to finish 8th or 7th. I think it's going to be tough because it's not going to be the same as last year. It's not going to be the same as the years before.
based on now.
I think
Well, you're used to having 90-point seasons,
Exactly.
essentially. This is going to be... it's looking like a 70, 75 maybe.
is it
At a
like
stretch.
that even? Yeah.
I think Liverpool at the moment, solely based on how they've played in these first 3 games, the energy, the mentality, I think they look like any team can seriously go to Anfield or they can go to any team and lose.
Yeah.
And the same, they could win. It just seems unpredictable
Yeah.
in terms of play style, in terms of what they're going to do on the ball, in terms of which players are going to show up every week. You knew before Van Dijk, sure thing, he's shoring it up.
Yeah.
You knew Robertson was going to put in a 7, 8 out of 10 every single game. You knew Henderson was going to run around, win the ball back, feed off the energy of the other players. Fabinho, the same. Salah, you knew at least he was going to threaten throughout the game.
And I saw something, it was like out of the last 21 away Premier League games, we scored 2 goals in 18 of them. And in this game, we didn't even look like scoring.
Yeah.
And what else is interesting is in the chat watching the game this morning, and I remember I said Liverpool was going to grab a draw,
Yeah.
but they didn't. So I think for me, that's what made me realize that, okay, we're
a
seeing
bit different.
It's different this year. There's a different vibe. It's not the same predictability as we're used to
Yeah.
seeing.
Because Liverpool had that thing that old Man U had.
Yeah,
That Man City even have. They showed against
Even
against
last year.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
That
This is Liverpool's first loss of 2022 in the league.
Yeah, this is their first loss. Last year we were 6 games in a row going behind, and we didn't lose.
Yeah.
But
Even
now,
the last game of the season.
now we lose. Yeah. Now, like, is that Liverpool? Like, do we lose? Like, I can't understand that. We're drawing against Fulham. We're drawing against Crystal Palace in games where, yes, Crystal Palace is a very different situation, but Fulham, we go behind twice. We come back, yes, and draw, but it's Fulham. They just got promoted. Those things shouldn't be happening. This isn't a Liverpool team when I'm watching. Yes, we've performed poorly in many games throughout the last 5 years, but never have I felt like a team like Man U should be outplaying us and outperforming us and outworking us, let alone like technically, but outworking Liverpool, a team that has Jordan Henderson, a team that has players who just run unstoppable, like phenomenal stats. It shouldn't happen.
Agreed. And for me, I in no way think Liverpool's close to their best, but I don't know what that best is.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at. There's just we don't know what level they're going to be at or how bad they're going to be. I personally don't know.
Absolutely.
You're going to hear it first. Liverpool going to fight for that 4th spot.
Oh, yeah?
100%. I think it's going to be between
I think
Liverpool,
we'll get
Chelsea. Nah, not Chelsea. Liverpool, Tottenham. Just the
bottom
teams that
clubs.
can make the
Liverpool,
Yeah.
Tottenham.
I think it's done.
Yeah, the top 2 solidified, I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Sorry, top 3 solidified.
Yeah.
It's early days.
Arsenal, City.
I don't want to get
Chelsea.
Do you think you'll finish ahead of Liverpool this season?
100%. I can put money on that as well.
How much you want to put?
$50.
Deal.
I'll put
You want to put 50 as well?
I've got a bet.
Yeah.
so
You guys want to put 50?
I'll put money. Yeah, 50.
Yeah.
Can I 50 each person?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have. I'm just me betting against all of you.
Yeah, but you get all the money.
I've already got a bet. So
Yeah, we'll just do that.
But I think this is the end.
I wanted to mix it up before we end it and have a little bit of fun. So let's see. I want to see who you guys think.
Let me get my energy back up.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of past versus present player debates. Prem era. We'll keep it kind of recent, but I want to get you guys' thoughts on some players. I want you to tell me who's better in their prime. Okay.
Oh, so not career-wise.
Nah, in their prime, who is the better
This
player?
is going to get a lot of hate. I'm telling you, because people don't understand that you can think a player in his prime is untouchable compared to a player who was very, very good for his career. So if you look at him career-wise, one could clearly be better. But if we're saying one season, who's the best player? It's a very different answer.
That's it. One season.
Just at their very best for one season.
And you don't
or-
need to consider consistency.
Yeah.
It's just
No.
who's the best.
No.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not going to give you players like Tarapt. Like I'm going to give you high quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But we're not talking about longevity and
No,
we're not
no.
talking about accolades.
Yeah. Okay. The first one is Nemanja Vidic or Joel Matip.
I'm gonna say Vidic.
I'm going to say Vidic as well.
It's just two ways to look at this.
There's definitely is.
Why? Why is there two ways?
There is.
There is.
Why? Are you basing it off Matip's last season
What do you want
performance?
to play?
Because that's probably his best
Do you just
ever.
want somebody to just kill people for days?
Yeah, but
Or do you want somebody who's just going to be good on the ball,
But
going
if-
to break lines?
you're picking an 11. Are you telling me you're taking Matip?
It depends how you want to play.
No, I'm looking at both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Are you taking Matip? Like, why are you thinking about it? Because the
Because-
only
'cause-
good season Matip has had last year.
Yeah, but we just said it's not
Yeah,
about,
it's the one
about
season,
player,
right?
the player.
It's I know, but if you're gonna say
If it's
what
about-
has
if it's
Matip
about
been?
your point, then it's going to be... it's
No, but
it's gonna
that's
be-
why I'm asking you. Like, what's getting you stuck right now?
Well, for me, they're totally different players.
Exactly.
One, like I said, technically, if you're picking a defender based on technical ability,
Yeah.
you're going to go Matip.
Yeah.
If you're picking a defender who's defensively very strong, you're going to go Vidic.
And effect on the team it's definitely Vidic.
But
When-
yeah,
100%.
I think purely
Yeah.
because of the team he played for,
yeah.
the titles he's won, his mentality, you'd probably have to go.
And yeah,
criminalised.
Vidic at his best is a
Exactly.
Premier League player, player of the season. He won a Premier
Twice.
League player of the season.
Back
yeah,
to
I
back.
think he has two.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
I don't know if it's back to back, but I think he has two Premier League player of the seasons.
Yeah. If someone said
But Joe
Matip,
Matip's just a little live
if someone said Matip,
No, but Joe Matip
No.
is a great player.
That was just a
but
little
he's just
light
not.
one.
He's
good,
just
not great. He's
just
not great. He's good.
He's just not. He's just not.
Nah, this is part of the Liverpool hype. Because if Matip had the exact same seasons for any of the other top 6 teams, no fucking teams fans
think
sucking
it's
him off
true,
like
bro.
this.
Don't think it's
100%
true.
Liverpool fans, bro. That sucked him
I
off
don't think
bad.
that's true.
Fair point.
Let's go. Gareth Barry or John McGinn.
Gareth Barry.
Yeah, Gareth Barry.
I don't mind McGinn though. If we're
I don't hate
comparing
McGinn either, but I think Gareth Barry at his best
Was more
is a decent Premier League midfielder.
more complete as well, I feel like.
I feel like John McGinn is not getting into any team above him, so like not above him because they're doing.
You don't think John
terrible,
McGinn could start for Liverpool right now?
but no, he's not getting into
He
the
couldn't?
top 8. Well, with all our players, obviously he can get into he can be our 7th choice midfielder, but
Is John McGinn a better player right now than Keita?
no, hell no,
Of course, the Liverpool fans
hell
gonna say
no,
that.
man. Don't be ridiculous.
What do you mean?
We're being ridiculous. If you
Why
think
are
John
we being
McGinn, if you guys are going
I
to
don't
say
know if it is.
John McGinn is better than Naby Keita, we're being
Right now, right now.
I don't think that's
Right now-
outlandish to say.
I think
I don't think that's outlandish to say.
No way.
What's that? I don't think that's thing to say.
of course you're gonna think one side without even look. At least look out the window and look at the other side. You're just looking one
I've
way.
seen John McGinn, and I like John McGinn.
Open
John
your head.
McGinn
Keita's
is-
better than
John McGinn is
Keita's
not the
better
player
than
Keita is. No way.
But what's Keita done for Liverpool? What has he done? He
Nothing.
plays 2-3 games,
Nothing.
gets to the peak, and then
That's what I'm saying.
injured.
Nothing.
So how can you?
But are we
how can-
acting,
why are you judging
acting
that?
like John McGinn's a better player than Keita? We're not acting
Right now,
Well, as a midfielder in the
not.
Premier League,
he's a dog.
He's not better.
okay, it's unanimous again.
Yeah, and unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. At their best, Firmino
Yeah.
or Tevez?
Wow.
I mean, look, Firmino, they say he's this magician of a player, but Tevez is a bulldog.
Yeah, bro.
That's disrespectful to Firmino. But
Disrespectful.
you saying they say he's Firmino at his best is an amazing.
No,
false
I'm
nine.
just saying I hear it every day.
Yeah,
I hear every
at his
day.
best, he's an amazing false nine who scored 15 goals in the Premier League.
Technically, he's amazing.
10 goals in the
You want
Champions
to say
League.
15?
I hear it all the time.
10
You're
goals
still in your teams. You're talking about someone that's still in their team.
as a false nine. 15 goals in the league and 10 goals in the Champions
What do you
League
mean
season.
as a false nine?
Yeah, he plays false nine. Doesn't play nine.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Someone who scores 15 goals in the league and 10 goals in the Champions League, one Champions League season. How many players do you know that scored 10 goals in the Champions League season? Not many.
Good point.
That's at his best. And
You
at
put-
his best, he's a winner of both those competitions.
You put Tevez, straight swap. Even playing freaking false nine, I don't give a shit. He's still scoring more than 10
But I don't
goals.
think, I'm not going to say for me. I think Tevez. I'm definitely
Tevez is
picking
a
Tevez.
fool.
Then why are you arguing with it?
Because you guys are being disrespectful to Firmino.
No, we're not.
No.
Why is it
I hear all the
disrespect?
time.
It's saying one or the other. Why is it disrespect? Because we said one more than the other.
No, because you're acting as though it's
No,
not
we haven't.
even
We just
it's not
said
even a
Tevez.
conversation.
We never said Firmino shit. We just said Tevez.
Tevez. You do
But
say
you're
that.
saying it's
the way MJ
disrespect.
put it, well, he's a magical player all the time.
That's what I mean. I'm saying, why is he saying it's disrespect? Because we've
That's
been told to
disrespectful.
choose one or the other.
No, I'm saying
We didn't say Tevez.
the way he
Firmino's
talked
a
about
shit
Firmino is
player.
disrespectful.
Because we said Tevez is better.
But I think Tevez at his best can do more on the field than Firmino.
His impact
and
is
his impact is
insane.
more. Yeah.
He's defended Joe Matip against Vidic.
No, I didn't. I picked Vidic straight away.
I know, but you still
I picked
defended him
straight
somehow.
away. Yeah,
You-
of
you-
course. I'm going to say, I'm
yeah,
going to big up my club's players.
Exactly.
But I picked Vidic straight away, and I picked Tevez this time.
You'd pick Nat Phillips still.
I mean, we could say Firmino's technically better.
Yeah,
But in terms of, like,
I think they're close.
What he's going to bring you, Tevez, I think it's no debate.
I agree.
I think it's no debate.
Pasta wiping the floor. Let me make it a bit interesting. Mata in his prime, Chelsea Mata or Bernardo Silva?
Bernardo Silva, without a doubt.
That's quite good.
That's a really good one. Both left-footed.
Yeah.
Both
both
same type of player.
4'6".
Both had a season where they were arguably one of the best players in the comp.
Both 4'6". I'm just saying, Mata's impact for that Chelsea team was more
Do you
than
think so?
Bernardo's has ever been for Cities. That's all I'm gonna say.
You don't think Bernardo Silva last
I don't know
year?
if I agree
I
with
don't.
that.
I think just because of not because of the titles, because they both obviously won titles. But I'm saying,
One player, one more.
yeah. But I don't think it's not saying titles. But I feel like Mata had more of an impact for that team for like Chelsea, rather than say if you take out, say if Bernardo Silva was injured, you could replace him. You won't get the exact same result, but it's somewhat a gap filled that could still win you games. You take out Mata, you can put anyone. I don't think you're going to get the same Chelsea in that era he played.
But I think for me, what was most impressive is that Bernardo played at that level, and KDB was there, and people still said this guy was incredible.
That
But
phenomenal.
is it because KDB was there, or was it because
Yeah, it
KDB
is.
was in a bit of a slump?
No, it is
Because he was in a slump at that time.
Look at the
and they
nu-
needed someone.
Look at the
to be
number
like,
of quality players that they have.
KDB's level is so high. So if you're rated better than KDB,
Look,
that's extremely
just look
impressive.
for instance.
But I'm saying, is it because you're rated better than KDB
Nah.
because he
Boys,
was?
I'm gonna need some quicker answers.
But because he was better, or because KDB was worse?
I'm saying Bernardo
in
Silva.
that period.
If I could pick one player to have on my
Bernardo
team,
Silva?
I'd pick
Mata.
Bernardo Silva.
Mata?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea bias.
I'll go Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, who are you saying?
Silva. I think I'll go Mata.
Yeah, it's not Chelsea bias anymore.
He was scoring goals,
So is Bernardo
setting
Silva.
up goals. He was Chelsea's Player of the Year like twice or three times.
Twice in the three
Like,
times.
oh
yeah.
my god, he was incredible.
And I'm
What
saying,
team's better? Chelsea, City, or City?
oh, City.
Of course.
Yeah,
But only one of the
he
City
was better.
teams.
Champions League as well.
Look at how good Gabriel Jesus is at Arsenal right now. So I'm saying if you take one player away from the City team, they can be a world beater at another
No,
team.
but I'm saying to you,
Mata
are we
playing
saying
with way less quality. Of course, he's playing with less quality. He's going to stand out.
They were good.
They were good, but
They
he's
won the
playing,
Champions
He's
League.
playing with less quality,
And
less
the league.
star names on his team.
we won the league?
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he's playing with less quality.
But
Very
it's,
close. Very close.
but my thing is, was Bernardo Silva highlighted even more because KDB was worse?
No.
I think you can argue that. You can say
you
yes.
can argue that. But I think because KDB's level's so high,
Yeah.
to be rated better is that's got to be something.
I got a couple more before we finish. How much time we got? Yeah, I got a couple more.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
got a lot.
Nani. Shout out Nani.
Shout out Nani.
Melbourne Victory
Melbourne
Zone.
Victory, Nani.
Or St. Maximin.
Oh, hey, that's probably the
That's
best one.
It's a great one because if we're talking about for a full season, I think I'm going to take Nani. But if we're talking about one-off game, who at their best can perform better, St. Maximin at his best is one of the most unplayable players in the Premier League
I
right
don't
now.
think anyone can get near him.
Yeah,
as
so
we saw.
I'm just going to say if I'm picking him for one game, I'm taking St. Maximin. That guy is unplayable. You see what he did to Carl Walker?
Yeah.
that whole city right side.
Right, he
Finish.
just turned that. That's one. Someone commented on your video saying this is one of the best performances I've ever seen from a player since Hazard played for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I agree.
I agree with that whole statement.
Yeah.
For one game, simple.
Yeah.
For a season, you could say 9.
I think I would say Nani.
Does it depend on the game though? I'll give you a scenario. What if it was Champions League final?
I don't know. I think it's the same.
Do you want to risk it and take
I don't
St.
think-
Maximin, or
I
do you
don't
want to
think-
do you want to say fire and a more reliable option that can play back or keep the ball, not always aggressively going forward? I think that the game does matter as well.
Yeah. I
If
think
it's a nothing game, like a point game, you could say Maximin, but more important game.
Cup final.
Yeah.
Let's say cup final.
Nani's been there. He's done. He's
Been there, done it.
been in
But,
those games.
but
But I still think I want Maximin.
okay, good.
Like, and this is not disrespect to Nani, but it's
Yeah.
just how highly I think of St.
Yeah, 'cause
Maximin.
I think you need that.
At his best,
in
bro.
those big games.
Yeah.
You need somebody who's going to do
At
that.
his best, he is
I'd rather take the risk.
untouchable. Yeah,
And that okay. So who are you locking in? St.
I'll
Maximin.
go.
St. Maximin.
I'd go say Maximin as well.
St. Maximin.
St. Max. All right. And since Bud brought up cup final, Drogba
Do we
or
need-
Harry Kane?
Do we need to hear the other player? Give me Didier Drogba.
Yeah.
All
Come
those
on,
kids
man.
that are going to say, Harry Kane, 20 goals every season, Drogba, 13
I don't
goals.
even have to think about
Do-
that.
9 goals in 9 finals. Give me Didier Drogba. I don't even care. I don't
Champions
care.
League final. Let's rewind this shit.
Yeah,
Champions
go,
League final.
go.
One Mata corner. Drogba knee post head against the best keeper, future Ballon d'Or nominee,
Didier.
Neuer. Puts it near post up against Boateng. Come on, man. When the fuck has Kane ever done anything like that?
No.
Yeah, nah,
Kane scores against nothing teams.
We're saying
So in his prime,
Player-
you would take Drogba over
prime
Kane.
player. Yeah, I'm saying Kane can end maybe career better, but Didier Drogba in his prime is physically
he's
better
a
than
star.
Kane.
He dominated
He's
defenders, man.
He dominatrix this guy.
Kane is a wimp, man. He drops in deep. He doesn't like that.
Let's not talk
He
shit
doesn't
about
like
Harry
that the tough
Harry Kane can
battles.
definitely give you more than
Look,
Didier Drogba.
Harry Kane's consistent though.
Yeah,
He's got a lot of golden boots.
MJ, come on, man.
A lot of golden
Harry
boots.
Kane can give you.
That means something.
Harry
does,
Kane can
but-
give you more than Didier Drogba can give you.
But if
like as a player. But
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
picking one to play
one
striker
game.
for us, and for one
game.
season, I'm picking Drogba.
Yeah.
One season.
If we're taking Drogba's, if we're taking Drogba's best ever season,
Yeah.
I'm picking that.
I'm backing that. I'm backing that.
He's better than Kane's best ever seen in goals.
And, and at the end of the season, what's he doing? Taking home the title.
Yeah.
Harry Kane taking
Mate,
anything.
Champions League final. Kane got there. Drogba got there. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Sure.
You can do shit.
True.
You can do shit for a team. You can do
Well,
shit
you
for a
bring up
team that's
some-
finishing
you bring up
fourth.
some
You can
great
do
That
shit for a
Bayern
team
team,
finishing
that Bayern
fifth.
team as well would beat Liverpool.
Gareth Bale, prime, or
Don't say that.
Sadio Mane.
This is a thinking one. This is
The
hard.
thing is, again, we can look at it. This is in the Prem prime. No, we're not saying Bale at Madrid, right? Or we are.
No, we can
Wherever
say-
he's prime,
Wherever his prime. Wherever you think he was the best at.
I think his
Then
prime's been
I'll take Gareth Bale. And I think Sadio Mane is mad, but I think Gareth Bale has also the winning aspect at the end of the season, and at his best, he was twice Premier League Player of the Season.
Yeah.
In the 4 years of his prime in the Premier League, he was Player of the Season twice.
Good point.
Goals, he played in the number 10 role. Yes, they're both probably as
Mane does have a
yeah.
golden boot.
Mane has a golden boot, yeah. But
Who was really in the league back then though? Like in that time that he won it. Like
Hazard,
big names. Look at the league now.
Suarez.
It was, the year he
Suarez.
was team of the year, it was like
Yaya Toure,
12,
Suarez.
13, Yaya Toure,
It's
Suarez.
big
all
names.
that.
There's big names.
But if you look at this one, there's way more quality.
There's
Contenders
better
for-
players.
I think there is more goal scoring contenders and player of the season contenders.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just I'm just adding a factor.
No, yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
move you to Mane?
I love Sadio Mane actually. Nah, you know what? Like, why am I saying Bale? I got to watch Mane every week for 5 years of my life, 6 years. Let me pick him. The guy's phenomenal.
I'd go Mane as well.
Yeah. I want to say Bale, but I think
You can't.
Mane gives you a lot more
100%.
in so many ways. But I mean, Bale does as well.
Yeah, Bale does. Well. This is a really tight one.
His
This
work
is
rate was super high.
this is definitely
Yeah.
the
He could
tightest
score
one
from
we've had.
anywhere.
He had
1v1, he was
1v1.
very good. And when he even moved into the 10 role, he was creating and scoring worldies every second week.
Yeah. But
He had a whole top 10 goals that could have been the league's top 10 goals.
Mane.
Shit. I don't know,
It's-
actually.
I'm going.
I'm just a Liverpool fan. I'll pick Mane. But this is the tightest one we've had.
As a fan that hates both clubs that both these players played for, I'd go Mane.
That's a tough one because I feel like if you look at being unplayable,
Gareth Bale.
Bale might have been more unplayable than
I think
Mane.
so.
So I think I'm going to have to go for Gareth Bale.
You think more unplayable?
But then I don't know.
At that time,
I think
I
there's
don't think
a,
anyone was,
I
I
agree.
don't think anyone was going near it.
I think when
agree.
Mane wins his golden boot, he's not as unplayable as he was previously.
Exactly.
When one-on-one,
Okay, pick that season then.
when one-on-one, I don't think there was a period of time where I didn't think there was a defender that could get even close to
He is-
him. He just does this one,
Bombs as
cut
well.
inside right foot.
Bombs.
You want to tell me the players Bale was playing with?
That's what I was about to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
The squad he had and the things
It was like
doing,
Pavlyuchenko 9.
Yeah,
he had what?
Lennon on the right.
yeah.
When Lennon was kind of cool, but like
Van der Vaart?
Van der
Yeah,
Vaart.
Van der Vaart.
They had Modric, yes,
Modric.
but the defense, Asui Koto,
Yeah, not a good.
Kabul.
No, I'm going with Bale.
Oh, Eunice Kabul.
Maybe we say
I'm
Bale.
going with Bale.
you such
I think he was.
I think we say Bale. Yeah, but Sadio Mane, excellent.
Yeah,
But,
it's
yeah.
very
You're,
close.
are you going Bale as well?
I'm still going Mane.
Oh, you're
man.
going Mane.
Bale.
He was
Bale.
different, man.
I'll say
Bale. All right, I got one more before we wrap this up.
These are very different to anything I was expecting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be.
You
The
know,
usual one.
usual. Yeah,
Okay, this is the last one. Sami Nasri
at his best.
or
Great.
Jack Grealish?
I'm saying Sami Nasri's best season is either his first or second season at Arsenal, where he
0809.
yeah 0809 910, where he had the neck warmer, long sleeve, sometimes even short sleeve with a neck warmer,
And
gloves, and dribbling wise, better than Jack Grealish. I think technically better than Jack Grealish, but Jack Grealish for a good portion of the season before he signs for Man City is one of the best players in the Premier League, and he's unplayable.
You can even extend it to the end of the season before.
Yeah, and the end of the season
Yeah.
before. He had a great period where he was
The
very,
season
very
he
good.
saves Aston Villa from getting relegated.
Yeah,
Yes.
by himself.
By himself.
Single-handedly. Just because of that, I think I'd go Jack Grealish.
Nasri was a fucking ball.
Nah, I'm saying Nasri, mate.
I think Nasri
Clearly.
is a better player, but I think Grealish had a higher impact on his team than Nasri.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played with scrubs. Nah. That's I'm not gonna try to be disrespectful. But for me, Nasri technically
Yeah, he's
can't-
phenomenal.
You can't compare them.
Are they? You think you can't compare them technically? Because do you feel like the gap is that big?
I think it's a big
Technically,
gap.
technically,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm not
I think
trying to
it's a big
disrespect
gap.
Grealish. I'm not saying Grealish isn't a very
not
technical player.
Almiron.
And
You know, he's not Almond. But I think if you're comparing him to Nasri in his prime, I just think it's just different gravy.
yeah, Nasri in his prime is a baller, and I think Grealish career wise, if we're gonna at the end of his career, is going to be better than Nasri.
Is it?
Yeah,
Nasri did go to City, win trophies.
went to City and won trophies.
was good.
Good.
He was good.
Wasn't the same impact.
good. He
was good.
It wasn't. I don't think he was the level he was at Arsenal.
He was playing with better players.
That's true.
that's when he
Same
found
with
club.
Grealish now, I guess.
So who are you locking in?
I'm gonna say
Nasri. for
Nasri.
me.
But
Do I go down the path of getting abused?
do it, man. Say what you want. You're not gonna get abused for saying Grealish. No way.
I think I will.
People
I think lots of people
recency bias
will say
will
Grealish.
Grealish.
But I just remember watching
But Nasri for me
Nasri
was
and
the best
thinking
player.
like, I want to play like this guy. I don't watch Grealish and think I want to play like Grealish.
Calves aren't big enough.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the calves for it.
Nasri
Nah,
can
but-
play in any kind of situation.
And play number 10 and
Yeah.
out wide.
I'm stick
Grealish can play number 10 as well.
Exactly.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
But I mean,
Here we
Grealish
go again.
used to play more in transition.
Yeah.
Nasri doesn't
Tight
matter.
areas,
Tight
everything.
anywhere. So I think that's why for me, there's a clear distinction.
But Pep's system is he's telling him to stay wide. Like he's not giving
He's
as
not
much
flourishing,
freedom.
though.
Nasri in Pep's system now in
Would be
prime
much better.
far better.
He'd be more like Bernardo
Would
Silva.
be far better, but do you think he'd be a better player?
He'd be very similar to Foden. I think he would
Do
be
you think
similar
he'd
to
be a
Foden.
better,
Better than
better
Foden.
player though?
Foden's good though.
Do you think he'd be better than his prime that he had with Arsenal?
I think so.
Nasri as a young player was better than Foden.
No. What I'm saying is,
Okay, I thought we were just
no.
being clear.
What they're saying is, Nasri under Pep's system right now
Yeah,
would be
he
good.
would
But I'm
flourish.
saying
I think
he'd
he would be
flourish,
much better
but would he
than-
better than his prime at
Yeah, I
Arsenal?
think so.
I don't think so.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think he would be great.
I think
He'd be great.
All I'm saying is he'll be far better than Grealish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But would he be better than his prime?
Arsenal were a bit more
Relax.
Free.
relaxed,
Yeah.
Exactly.
fluid. Not
Yeah.
fluid like we were better than City now, but City is so
Very-
much more structured.
Very, very.
Yeah, you give him more freedom.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then saying him at City right now
Absolutely.
wouldn't make sense.
We're not even
because
comparing that
that's
though.
not even
It's
his
Grealish
best.
at his best, whether that was at Villa, and Nasri at his
Nasri
best.
for me.
Nasri.
I need an answer.
Grealish. I'm gonna go Grealish. What
And
about
there
you?
we go. I'm gonna go Nasri. Yeah.
That's good.
This has been Let Him Shoot. Those are the past versus present play debates. I made it up. If you've seen it anywhere, we made this shit up here. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Like and subscribe and comment.
Cheers, mate.
Hey, we need some brand deals as well. So hit me up.
Chivas.
Nike, please.
You are not allowed to have
Manscaped.
that brand deal.
I meant the shoe brand.
Yeah, it's Connie's.
Adidas.
Adidas. That's what it is.
for Mitch.
Canberra Mosque.
Prada, baby.